In preparation, it is the small details that can ruin a perfectly planned scheme. Today, I want to talk about some unusual items for preparation. Many of these things don't even come to mind as tools for preparation, but they can play a crucial role in various situations. What I will talk about won't make the headlines. It's not about portable slabs, night vision devices, or impressive must-haves. These are the items you might already have at home. They are inexpensive and will help you in case of a survival situation, from a simple power outage to much more serious problems. My list consists of only 30 items, but in reality, one could name hundreds of such items. If you have your own ideas, feel free to share them in the comments. So, let's move on to the list I prepared. The first item is Ziploc bags. They are perfect for storing various items. Different sizes of bags are very convenient. You can use them for your backpack in case of evacuation, or to store something in a hideout, like ammunition or even weapons. You can also put a knife in the bag. Vacuum bags are very useful, especially if you're talking about supplies for survival or an evacuation backpack. They are slightly inferior to specially sealed bags, but still quite effective. The next item is buckets, for example. 5-gallon buckets, 1 gallon, 2 gallon, 6 gallon. I don't remember the last time I threw away such a bucket because they can be used for many different purposes, from storing food to emergency toilets, although I wouldn't use the same bucket for both purposes. I store rice, flour, and even beans in 5-gallon buckets. When I open them, I transfer the contents into smaller 1 or 2-gallon buckets. Different sizes of buckets are suitable for different needs. Most of them are round, but there are also square ones. Buckets are indeed indispensable for various situations and are a universal tool. The next item is yard bags. Generally, garbage bags are useful, but yard bags are especially good. I have one in my backpack in case of evacuation. They are very sturdy bags. I'm talking about yard bags, the kind you can throw branches and other things into and they won't tear. These bags can be used for many different tasks. I think if you're going to the store and you don't have such bags, it's worth buying a box. They can be used as raincoats. They are large enough. You can make a shelter from them or use them to collect water. If you don't have an emergency backpack, they can be used to carry things. Even if you have a backpack, you can use bags to collect firewood or something similar. They have so many uses that I believe having them is essential. Now about tape and paracord. I'll quickly go over these things. We all know that with tape, you can do almost anything. If something is missing, you can always use tape. We have wire and tape, and with their help, you can create many things. Rope is one of those things that are always useful in preparation. Lisa collects all the rope when we buy hay. She has a large bag full of pieces of rope 2 to 3 feet long. I have hundreds of feet of paracord and jute rope. It's always useful to have a lot of rope, as you never know what situations it may come in handy. The next thing is tights. Perhaps many do not think about them, but they can be used as water filters or for other purposes. For example, as a face mask. Not only for bank robbery, but if you don't have a bandana, you can use pantyhose. They can also be used for carrying things. You can take one long leg of tights and make a pouch for small items, tie the ends, and wear it around your neck. There are many options. Similarly with bandanas. Halisa once wrote an article about 100 ways to use a bandana, and indeed, they can be used in various ways. That's why we always try to have one in our backpacks. They can be used for filtering air by covering the face, for camouflage, and much more. Bandanas and similar items are versatile. If needed, you can even make a rope from a bandana. Cut this into small strips or something like that and do it this way. The film I mentioned is Visqueen. These plastic rolls are large enough to be used for many purposes. When it comes to a pandemic, viruses, you can seal windows. Even if you just want to keep the warmth in the house, closing the windows with this material, sealing the doors, and many other applications. Use it as a tent. If you don't have a tent or need an extra one, cut a piece and use it as a tent. Vinegar and bleach are two important elements. Vinegar can be used as a cleaning agent in cooking and for many other purposes. Bleach is also useful, for example, for disinfecting water. Many things can be done with both of these substances. Another item that may come in handy is coffee filters. I tried to quickly go through this list so as not to hold you up all night. Coffee filters are also good. They can be useful for storing items, filtering water, and removing sediment, pre-filtering your water. Most of us probably have coffee filters at home. A few other things you might already have in your pantry are salt, baking soda, and baking powder. Salt is useful for many reasons, even just for seasoning bland food, but it is also good for preserving. There are several types of salt: sea salt, kosher salt, regular table salt, different varieties. Salt is something you should stock up on in sufficient quantity. As for baking soda and baking powder, they also have their uses in preparation. Baking powder is mainly used for baking, helping the dough rise, while baking soda has many more uses. It can be used to make toothpaste for hygiene purposes, sanitation, cleaning, and so on. It is also worth noting that after the expiration date, baking soda does not become toxic and retains some properties of a leavening agent, so it can still be used for cleaning and other purposes. The next item is clothespins. They can be used in many different situations along with other preparation items such as visqueen film and mylar bags. We can use them for hanging, for example, coverings. Perhaps we need to secure something while we have time to tie it, and clothespins would be great for that. In general, these items have many different uses. I mean, why not use ordinary clothes hangers to hang things, right? In conditions without electricity, you will have to wash your clothes, which involves using containers, possibly 5-gallon buckets. You will need clothespins to hang things up since the dryer won't work. A sheet of foil is also useful. This is a kind of small version of a large film that allows sealing various items. Although it is not as strong as large plastic coverings, it can be helpful in an emergency. To preserve items without a refrigerator, it's important to minimize air exposure to food. If you don't have Ziploc bags, aluminum foil is a great solution. Many think of foil in the context of preparedness, for example, foil hats or protection against electromagnetic pulses. But foil has many practical applications in preparedness, from protection against electromagnetic pulses to simple food preparation and preservation. It can be used for cooking, covering dishes to make cleaning easier, collecting and purifying water, as well as for signaling and communication, and insulating shelter. It is truly a versatile material. I used to buy one roll and wait until it was finished before buying a new one. Now I have 3 or 4 spare rolls because it's something you shouldn't be without. Foil can be the element that changes the situation. As for the trash cans, plastic and aluminum, the aluminum ones have the property of creating a Faraday cage. It is also worth noting the cardboard boxes that I did not include in this list. In fact, there are hundreds of such things. With a cardboard box, if you seal it a bit, you can make a homemade Ferrari cage. Plastic containers can be used for collecting rainwater and washing. These various types of garbage bags have many uses. Even your plastic kitchen trash cans can be useful. As for thermal mats, many of the things I've mentioned are based on the same principle. They work just like tarpaulins or the plastic film I mentioned. These cheap thermal mats cost about $1 each. I have a whole box, probably containing 30 or 40 of these mats. You know, Miara blankets are really useful for a multi-day hike. You never know when they might come in handy. You can even make a pillow out of them. If you have one in your emergency backpack, you can find a way to patch it up, stuff it with leaves, and so on. This is just a cool thing to have on hand. You never know what it might be useful for. Another useful item is baby wipes. They can be used for cleaning, for kitchen sanitation, or for personal hygiene. They can serve as a disinfectant. Wet wipes are much more versatile than paper towels. Of course, paper towels are good too. But in certain situations, baby wipes will prove to be more functional. If a paper towel gets wet, it quickly becomes useless. But with wet wipes, you have several options. I have a few more things. Bottle caps that can be useful for many tasks. They can be used for sealing, as well as a float for fishing. The same applies to invisible hair accessories. Speaking of fishing, lids can be used to make hooks, and dental floss can be used to create fishing lines. This kit can be called a homemade fishing kit. Good luck fishing with it, but who knows, maybe you'll catch something. The last thing I wanted to talk about is potassium permanganate. I mention it specifically because I often receive criticism about it. Once I made a video about how to start a fire with it, and people usually react with disbelief. Sure, we'll carry this in our backpacks. In reality, I have a small vial of potassium permanganate in my emergency backpack because it's needed for more than just starting a fire. To start a fire, antifreeze and brake fluid are also needed. These items can be used to ignite a fire, and I demonstrated this in my video. In a situation where everything goes wrong, especially if you are in the suburbs or even in the countryside, there is a chance that you might come across an abandoned car. In such a car, you might find brake fluid. Of course, we need lighters, steel rods, or any other materials to start a fire. I have some special wax that ignites quickly when struck with a steel rod, Vaseline, and cotton balls will also work. In an emergency, this can really help start a fire. But that's not the only reason I keep it in my backup backpack. It can also be used for, I don't know, purifying water. But it really kills bacteria, algae, viruses, and fungi in just an hour. To start a fire, an equal amount of brake fluid and potassium permanganate is used. Much less is needed to purify water. Moreover, it is a disinfectant. Thus, this product has 3 different uses, and for me, its lightweight of just a few ounces makes it very convenient. I could probably gather enough to start one fire. Since this product has so many different uses, it's more a question of, why not? Its weight is so small that why not take it with you? It's one of those topics that are interesting. Honestly, we could walk around our house and find preparatory uses for every product we have. This is truly useful, and the more you think about it, the more ideas come to mind. I shared 30 examples, but as I mentioned at the beginning, there are probably hundreds of other useful things in terms of preparation, and some of them may be specific to certain disaster scenarios. If you have ideas or comments, be sure to leave them in the comments section below. That's all for today. Take care and get ready. Good luck to everyone. We will see each other soon.